There she is. Yep. There's Eleanor. We're gonna get through this time, right? It's gonna be smooth, easy ride. We're just gonna glide.
Hi everybody, and a warm welcome back to Maple Leaf Customs in Switzerland. I'm Andrew, and on the bench today is a 1:64 scale Hot Wheels 1967 Shelby GT500. There have been 2 releases of this casting. Mine was part of the New Models series that began production in 2010 and continues to today. I've got a 2025 release. I'm going to go to work on this as my submission for the July Four Horsemen Invitational on the theme of movie cars. Now, there's a lot of latitude with a theme like that, and a customizer could go down any number of different paths. I've got so many favorite TV and movie cars to choose from. I've actually only done a couple of these so far. Let me know in the comments which ones you'd prefer to see me take on as a future movie car project. According to my wiki research, the Shelby Mustang is a high-performance variant of the Ford Mustang, built by Shelby American from 1965 to 1967, and by the Ford Motor Company from 68 to 70. In 1967, the GT500 was added to the lineup, equipped with a 428 cubic inch, 7-liter Interceptor V8 engine with 2 600 CFM Holley 4-barrel carbs mated to a mid-rise aluminum intake manifold, producing 355 brake horsepower at 5,400 RPM. 2,048 of them were produced that year. I just have to produce one of them, and I've progressed up to the stage of drilling and tapping the single rivet that's in the back of the casting. There's a tab up front that's going to fit into the grill for reassembly time. I don't always do this as die-cast, or generally pretty soft, but in this case I had to do it to convince this little M4 screw to go in. I've been experimenting lately with this aerosol paint stripper, which I quite like, so I guess I'll finish out the can. It's got an almost instantaneous deadly effect on these paint jobs, as you can see. But it still leaves some toning on the body that needs to be taken care of in the regular way with some careful bare metal detail. Another step that simply can't be skipped. It's a very satisfying stage, and I like seeing them like this. On to degreasing and then to primer, as you've seen me do so many times before. Coming soon on Maple Leaf Customs, I've got my final 2 summer road trip buddy builds coming up, and then it's back to my regular customizations. You can look for a new video drop at the same time every Saturday. Following is free, but I'd really appreciate it if each of you would subscribe. That helps me the most. Well, no big surprise, the thumbnail gave it away. I'm doing one of the 2 most famous Mustangs in movie history. Eleanor, a 67 Fastback remodeled into a GT500 from Gone in 60 Seconds. It's not the one Steve McQueen drove in Bullit. That was a Highland Green 68 GT500, which is absolutely on my to-do list for this channel, but I wouldn't mind having either one of them in my driveway. If you're interested in the paints or airbrushes that I use almost exclusively here, go to the link that I've left in the description for the Gaahleri website and use the promo code Maple Leaf Customs to get a 10% discount on anything in their inventory. Eleanor actually appeared in 2 movies, Gone in 60 Seconds in 1974 and Gone in 60 Seconds, the 2000 remake. In the 1974 movie, it's a 71 Ford Mustang that was redressed as a 73 model, while in the 2000 movie, it was a custom DuPont Pepper Gray 1967 Mustang Fastback depicted as a Shelby GT500 dressed with a customized body kit that was designed by Steve Stanford and created by Chip Foose. The 2000 model had a nitrous oxide system. Depending on the source that you trust the most, either 11 or 12 cars were built by Cinema Vehicle Services for the 2000 film, with an additional Ford 428 powered Eleanor clone built for the producer Jerry Bruckheimer. 3 were fully functional vehicles, and 9 of them were built as shells. 7 were reported to have survived the filming and made it back to Cinema Vehicle Services, according to research by MustangandFords.com. Of the surviving vehicles, 3 cars, all claiming to be functional builds for the film, have been offered to the public for sale. And there's all kinds of legal action wound into this story. That's for another day. I'm getting mine all deckled up with racing stripes now, according to movie stills that I've got online, because if you just search for Eleanor in Google Images, you're going to get all kinds of different renditions and tribute builds with slight variations. So I'm trying to stick with the movie as closely as I can, or at least as closely as this Hot Wheels casting will let me. The Diecast and I both have our limitations. The big 3D print batch for this build included a steering wheel that more closely matches the real GT500. So I put that in place and then give it a wood grain grip. And there are some bright red racing harnesses that need to be added. I do that with a little bit of Mod Podge and a mascara applicator. These are printed on regular copy paper. They're not decals. Most importantly, I printed up several Cragar-style rims, all in the same size. I sprayed them chrome and then set inside some Samad rubber tires for this effect. Now I give attention to some final details, including the taillight assembly. I see it's set on a black background, and then I highlight the taillights in silver with a top coat of clear red. That's the right look. Custom license plate on the back. It is time for Heisman Trophy winner Earl Campbell to oversee the reassembly of all my finished parts. A good clear coat was applied and left to cure overnight, so now I can handle it and show off the basic shell for Eleanor with some decals and hand painting. The smoky glass never got handled. New wood grain steering wheel and some Recaro racing harnesses for the interior. Plastic chassis is now sporting 3D printed Cragar rims that are wrapped in Samed rubber tires and some chrome details on the undercarriage. Several dry fits of these pieces along the way pretty well ensure no surprises at this late stage in the game, and Eleanor is now ready to make the most unbelievable jump in movie car history. That looked real. Let's have a closer look at mine. There was one addition that was made. Did you catch the hood pin wires? I've never seen anyone do that before on a 1:64 scale. No doubt somebody has. I just haven't seen it yet. And again, as far as Hot Wheels allows, I think we got a pretty good replica of the movie car. The fog lights on the front grille are slightly different, but I decided to just let that be. Here's a look back at the original casting with its birth date on the doors. It is a pretty accurate model of the GT500, as I hope is my version of the Hollywood car. It's little Eleanor. I think I got the paint just right, and I did my best to give good attention to the decals and badges, the wheels. Hood pins for bonus points, tail light assembly, and a custom gone in 60 seconds license plate in case you didn't know which movie it was from. Thanks to the Four Horsemen for hosting this invitational. Be sure to watch all the other movie car builds. And thanks to you, my viewers, for visiting my channel again today. I wish you each a great week ahead. It's coffee time.